a lot of people just kind of feel like the buttoning up of their current home to get into their new home is like the step that they would rather skip. Good afternoon, Scott. How are you today?
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
We've got Scott Johnson on. He is the CEO and owner of Your Move Simplified. And the way that I like to describe that is put away your pizza, put away your friends coming over on a Friday to help you move a couch, and hire an adult moving services coordinator. Tell us how you would describe what you do in this industry.
Sure. So we're a group of, so the name of the company is Your Move Simplified. We're a group of residential professional organizers, but we use our skills as organizers to work with clients who are moving. So let's say you have a client, you're ready to get the house on the market, but the house isn't ready. So downsize, declutter, purge, clear the decks, pack away the stuff you want to keep, get rid of the stuff you don't want to. Once it sells, we'll come in and get it packed. We hire the moving company for the client. We'll manage the move out of that house and manage the new house, and then get it completely, fully unpacked and put away. So it's designed to be sort of as turnkey and as done for you as the client would like for it to be.
Wait, did I hear you say you unpack for me?
Yeah, everything.
Oh my goodness. So Scott, tell us, how long have you been doing this?
Well, we are actually, March will be our 10th year in business. So we're super excited.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that this service existed until we got into relationship with each other. I've always had, relationships with movers or relationships with organizers. But what I love about what you've got going on is that you're a full service coordinator.
Right.
So I love the idea, we have a lot of clients that are downsizing, right? Or clients that are moving to out of state or something that feels really overwhelming and really cumbersome. And most of them have dual income. They both work. A lot of them have kids, or they've just never been through a big move like this.
Yeah.
And I feel like one of the objections that we get as realtors is we're just not sure where to start.
Right.
And I whip out your card in my back pocket. I'm like, let me have you call Scott Johnson.
You touched on something a second ago. I do think what sort of separates us from other companies is, organizers don't stage, stagers don't organize, and movers don't do either one of those things. And we do all of that for a client. So we're able to fill in the gaps along the way. We're essentially sort of a one-stop shop. If we actually don't provide the hands-on work for it, we can find the service provider for it. So we coordinate all the services that are needed, so the client doesn't have to shop around or maybe keep coming back to you as the agent. And what about this person? What about that person? We sort of have our trusted list of vendors that we use regularly.
One of the things that I wanted to highlight, I remember doing a walkthrough with you with an older lady who just had her house filled to the brim. She wasn't quite a hoarder, but she had collected decades worth of things. Right. And I feel like when people go through this process of moving, they get stuck in the, where do I start? Like, you have a really clear process for helping people go through and identify those things and then actually help them physically transport or execute the removal or sale of those things and then getting them packed and moved to whatever location.
Right. So, the thing that a client has to remember is that, it took them a lifetime to accumulate those things, those collections and all that kind of thing. So, it does take a minute to sort of sift through and make the decision. The easiest, the path of least resistance is, where are they going? If they already know the size of the place, they already know, it's like you mentioned before, if they're downsizing, they're empty nesters, so they don't have multiple bedrooms. Maybe they're going to have a bedroom and a guest room that's also going to maybe be a home office as well, a smaller kitchen, and maybe not formal living spaces. So right away, we already know the rooms that we need to help them figure out. Where is that stuff going to go? Is there family, friends, neighbors, things like that might want them? Are there things maybe of particular value that actually would do well in an estate sale or maybe an assignment? So we help them through that process. And then there's sort of the sticky ones, the ones that are a little harder to make decisions on. Maybe sentimental gifts, photographs, frame photos, photo albums, wedding dresses, all the stuff. You've been so accustomed to having that space available and being able to, to store that for yourself. Now imagining not having that anymore is just pretty hard.
I love that you have Your Move Simplified, the word simple or to simplify the process, because moving is not simple. I mean,
No.
it's just not, right? You've got to like utilities and like getting your house, windows, shades, and all this stuff that's got to go into like where you're going to. A lot of people just kind of feel like the buttoning up of their current home to get into their new home is like the step that they would rather skip. For me, you are a huge piece of leverage that I feel like every working professional should be aware exists when they're trying to make that transition, because you literally take that weight off their plate.
As an agent, when your client is done at the closing table, they bought or sold their house.
Right.
Your role is sort of you're backing away from that, and that's actually when they're just getting started.
Right.
Now what do we do? We do have to box everything up. We do have to figure out what kids are getting things, or if we're moving across country, and there are just so many considerations. And so being able to sort of have one place to go to, of experience, to say, oh, I've used this mover before, or here's a great place to buy boxes. If you want to DIY some of it, or did you know that some of these thrift stores around town actually are associated with great organizations like women's battered shelters and stuff, where they give back. There are lots of things, because it's not what you do all day every day like us. We're able to really do it and help them feel good about getting the ball rolling.
I want you to take a step back and think about, I mean, obviously there are organization companies out there and there are moving companies out there, but if you had to describe what sets your move Simplified apart in the industry, what would you say is a core value or core service that you all provide that is like, this is why people stand in line to work with you?
We just take such a different approach because we're organizers who move. It's not like any other moving company or any other organizing company. And you sprinkle in some staging in there, and then we're sort of like, we can do most all of it.
If you were to demystify or debunk a part of the moving process, what would a consumer want to hear that would make them feel a little bit more at ease around partnering with you?
With us, we can guide the client across all kinds of decisions. I mean, basic ones I've mentioned before. If they're going to DIY, like where can you get a great deal on boxes, or how much does it really cost to pack a house of furniture and belongings, or who is a really trusted local mover, who's a really trusted long distance mover. What do I do with all these, the tires and the old televisions and the cans of paint? Like, how do I effectively get those recycled? How do I have those hauled away? Well, we sort of have all that available.
So tell us about your team.
Oh, that's a really great question. I personally think we have a great team. We've got about 15 organizers that work with us. We're sort of divided. So there's me, and I have a great operations manager. She sort of helps keep me on track and keeps everything going. I have 3 team leads. And then we have about 12 other sort of junior organizers who work under the leads. We started in 2013, so we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary, and at least of those team members, probably 6 of them have been with me the entire time.
They love the culture. They love helping people. I feel like you all are sort of the silent angels in this whole situation.
We are told that a lot, actually. We have been called angels before, which is nice. Moving it just creates such a pain point. We've already touched on it. My team all come from a place of being in service to others. They really do care. I'll ask my team members, do you feel loved, valued, and cared for?
Because I love that.
I want, because it's tedious work.
I'm going to write that down.
And I do want to make sure that they are feeling supported in the work they do. But then that also translates into what we think about and how we feel about the clients who we work with. We want them to feel loved, valued, and cared for. That we're not there to tell them what to do or to force them to get rid of things, or make them have less. We are there to support them in their decision making.
I do know that a lot of people hire you, which means you bring a ton of value. it's actually not as expensive as it seems. Would you just kind of give a broad brushstroke to how you all charge for your services so you can allow the consumer to feel like this is an approachable perspective for their move?
Yeah. So the way we have it all built in is we actually only charge for our time in the home, and it's only for my team. So all of the coordination of services, all of the connections with other service providers, the management of those service providers, all of that is done at no charge. But we do charge per hour per person who's in the house. We charge $65 an hour per person who's there. What I usually tell clients is, let me come and do a walkthrough with you. And let's see what it looks like if we did everything.
Right.
To your point, you might be thinking it's so much more than it really is. And when you find out what the cost of it is, it's really pretty manageable. And you thought, gosh, I was going to have to do half the work, and now I don't have to do any.
Let's just say like it's 40 hours of my time.
Yeah.
What is an astronomical cost to my business?
Sure.
By me taking myself out of my business for a whole week to do packing, organizing, or just being distracted, what would the opportunity cost of that time be if I stayed focused on what made me a living and hired an expert to do it that already had things at their fingertips and can do it 10 times faster than I could? Well, I always like to ask my professionals, who's inspiring them right now? What are you reading? What are you picking up on that's kind of keeping you motivated and helping you be a better person out in the world?
I read a book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And the whole purpose behind the book was trying to manage your stress. This is back when mindfulness was really sort of when Oprah Winfrey was telling everyone to do what you love, just to remain present and manage your time and your day. And and you can be successful without being stressed out and mean, I guess.
So
Yeah.
Scott, how do people find you?
There's two easy ways: www.yourmovesimplified.com. And you can always call or text me, 803-920-9133, 803-920-9133.
What a gift.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope that people watching know a little bit more about your services and think about utilizing you even between moves, and just have all kinds of ideas float through my head on how we can get back in business a little bit more together. So thank you for that.
I do want to just real quick, I want to say thank you to Anna Kay, the Anna Kay team. One of the reasons I really love partnering with your team is you get it. You understand the value that we can bring to your clients, and you've made us part of the DNA of your process, and we really, really very much appreciate it.
I just feel like we need to have experts in every area, know, and we feel like you do that hands down. So
I really appreciate that. But I can't thank y'all enough.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate you so much.